His birthday wish is for everyone else to get their shit together. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice. We're going to mandate you get it on. Rickey Smiley in studio. I love a broadcaster. I just told you off the air. I love radio.
Yeah.
I like the people. There's certain jobs where you go, like when a guy tells me he's a commercial airline pilot, I go, okay, I like that guy. Guy's precise. Yeah. He's accurate. He's a little bit sober. You know, like I can talk to that guy. Right. And people who do morning radio, I just like. I've always liked it.
Yeah, we know how to adjust to anything.
Yeah. And what time do you get up to do morning radio?
This morning I was up at 2 and on the air at 3.
Because of the time difference.
Because of the time difference. Right? Yeah, but it's nothing. Just take your ass to bed at 6 o'clock.
I know, but it's hard to go to bed while... before the street lights come on for a lot of people.
Yeah, close the curtains.
Yeah, and then you travel and the time, and it's...
Sleep on the plane, get all the sleep in, do what you got to do, and take naps during the day. Let your body catch up.
My weirdest stretch would be going to New York, doing my show Loveline, which... New York time would be 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. because it was 10 to midnight here. And 1 to 3 a.m., get back to my hotel, probably about 3:30, and be at Stern's show at 5:45.
Oh, my God.
And sit in with Stern for 5 hours.
Wow.
But I would go to bed at 4, get up at 5:15 or something, and then go do 5 hours of morning radio.
That's crazy.
It's nuts, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. You got to go to sleep.
But did you ever have real jobs, like tough jobs?
Yeah.
Manual labor and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I worked at Showbiz Pizza.
You worked at a pizza place.
Yeah, but it's like Chuck E. Cheese. I would do the birthday parties for the kids. I worked at Foot Locker, Tom McAn Shoes.
Oh, Tom McAn.
Tom McAn, man.
That's right.
Yeah, Jeans West.
Yeah, so you did retail jobs and... Were you making pizzas? What were you doing at the pizza place?
Make the pizza, put the sauce on there, 6 ounces of cheese for a large.
Weighed out.
I still remember the measurements.
Yeah, I know. I worked at McDonald's for like 10 minutes. I remember all the lingo.
Oh, yeah.
Like, burgers up, wrap, please. Cheese count on max, please. Cheese street, please. Like the whole world.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, you have to know all of that stuff, man. And doing the birthday parties with the kids and putting on the mouse uniform, walking around saying happy birthday to the kids. So
it's like Chuck E. Cheese, but not Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, it was Chuck E. Cheese at first, and then it became Showbiz Pizza, and then Chuck E. Cheese Company sued Showbiz Pizza, and now it's back Chuck E. Cheese. But it was founded Chuck E. Cheese. But when I was working at Showbiz, the guy that played the piano, that was the gorilla named Fats. The cheerleader was Mitzi. And then you had Pasquale on the drums. Just a whole little band set up.
I wonder if kids care anymore. I know. And then, but by the way, you don't remember what you did yesterday. Foolish is the name of the special. It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
It's coming out. That'll be, I guess, this Friday.
Friday.
It will come out Friday. You shot it in Birmingham, is that true?
I did. Birmingham, Alabama.
Is that where you're from?
Born and raised.
Is it Birmingham good?
Birmingham is great. You know, Kate Jackson, one of the original Charlie's Angels from Birmingham, she came out of my high school, Woodlawn High School.
And Scarecrow and Mrs. King, too, I think, was the show.
Yeah, we really proud of that. Bobby Bowden graduated from Woodlawn High School from Birmingham. And you got your
coach.
Yeah, you got your Charles Barkley, Bo Jackson. You know, all of your Alabama folks. So we're real proud.
But you're working out of Dallas, right?
Yeah, they just moved us from Dallas to Atlanta to do the morning show because it's hard to get interviews in Dallas, but everybody is in Atlanta.
Because they're filming there nonstop, right?
Tyler Perry Studios, rappers.
I never thought about the fact that the business moved there so you can get all these great names.
Absolutely. And everything goes through Atlanta. If you die, you have to go through Atlanta to get to heaven.
Really?
Atlanta
they have a heaven hub there?
They do.
It's interesting. So all of a sudden you're pulling all these great names because everyone's shooting a series there, shooting a feature there, shooting a movie there.
All the rappers are there. All of the athletes are there.
Why do all the rappers need to be in Atlanta?
Well, they come to Atlanta to perform one of the biggest concerts in the country. Is Birthday Bash at a station. I was the morning show host, Hot 107.9. So everybody is connected to Atlanta, via Birthday Bash, and then you have a historical station like V103, the People Station. But those big concerts are people from the West Coast, Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West, everybody come to Atlanta to perform. I live in Birmingham. Atlanta's 2 hours away. We go to Atlanta. We went to Atlanta for the weekends. That was our getaway. So we grew up in Atlanta also.
Yeah, I've been to Road Atlanta a couple of times to do a couple of car races, but that's way outside.
Yeah, way out.
That's not close. And I remember going to Road Atlanta, and I'm from here.
Right.
I'm from North Hollywood, so we didn't have any of these sort of Bible Belt rules or anything. Yeah. And I remember going to the track on a Sunday, and I said, stop off at the Quickie Mart here. Let's get a 12-pack so we can have something to drink at the track.
Alabama.
And then I walked in, and it was locked up. And so I'm from L.A.,
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, they got to lock it up because people are stealing their beer and stuff. So I just walked to the front desk and went, hey, man, could you just go ahead and unlock the beer for me? So I'm going to the track. And the guy's like, nope. And I'm like, well, why not? I'm thinking it's a thief thing, not a religious thing, a Sunday thing. Do they still got that going on over there?
I think so, yeah. We believe that if you drink a beer on Sunday, you're not going to see Jesus.
Yeah.
You're not going to see King Jesus.
All it does is get everyone to buy it on a Saturday night, though, right?
They go buy it. The ABC liquor store is packed on Saturday nights, and you get your drink on Sunday.
So when you're doing radio and you're talking X amount of hours a day, and you're doing stand-up at night or on specials and weekends and stuff like that. So now, are you like jotting down notes like, oh, that's a good
I have. I have
joke.
2 comics on my morning show that are great writers. And I say, hey, let's write that down.
Yeah,
let's test that out this weekend. And we usually perform together. Comedian Rita Brent, comedian Special K, and we write this stuff down and split the material up or whatever. Hey, Rita, here's one you could use. Hey, K, you keep that one.
But they came organically from riffing and having conversations, right?
Yes. Yeah, exercising that muscle in your brain every morning, Monday through Friday for the past 25 years has been helpful to my because sitting at home versus being on the radio where you're talking about pop culture and politics and sports or whatever, you come up with a lot of material.
Yeah, I've found that myself.
Yeah.
You have conversations, stuff gets broken loose, and then you write it down. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what the process is for people that don't do that. I think they just turn on the TV and look at stuff or drive around and see stuff or observe stuff.
Sat on a boat and came up with a lot of stuff, but my mind is just relaxed. I think of everything.
Yeah.
Come up with a lot
How'd you write your book?
Well, when I wrote my book, the second book that I wrote, Sideshow, it was a lot, man, after I lost my son. And so it was a lot of content there, and I thought it would be a great idea to put it into a book. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go on a book tour and sign books for people. Come to find out, the book was helping people that have lost their kids and lost their mothers, fathers. It was a grief help book. So everybody that was in line, you couldn't just sign the book and just say thank you. You were there hugging and crying and all of this stuff, and it became something different. So the book Sideshow is helping a lot of people.
You lost your son a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, coming up now. Fentanyl?
Yes, sir.
And I guess people go OD'd on fentanyl, but anyone can OD on fentanyl, right? Because they don't really know, right?
Yeah.
And I don't, first off, fentanyl just sounds like the scariest thing in the world.
It is scary.
But I guess it's something that people go to from pills or pain pills or something like that, right?
Yeah. I don't know how he got there, but what they're doing, what I found out that they're doing is lacing stuff like marijuana pills. I heard that is in vapes now.
Oh, really?
People are vaping, have lost their lives, and it's pretty bad.
How old was your son when he passed?
He was 32.
It's just got to be.
Yeah, he was my oldest
Devastating.
that I, had the joy of raising. And, I always think about taking him off to college and high school graduation. And my son was a comic. My son had been headlining for a couple of years before he passed away.
Oh, really?
He performed at the Stardome. He did a headlining show at the Comedy Club Stardome in Birmingham.
Wow.
And he toured with me sometimes. Mm-hmm. He was a great comic. His style was more like Roy Wood Jr. Than mine, whatever, because he looked just like me. So I think he went out of his way to try to be a little bit different on stage. His comedy was a little bit more thoughtful. Mine is just kind of silly and all over the place. But, he was a great comic.
Sad.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some years with him, though.
I did.
Which is a blessing.
I did. I found that to be a blessing when I was meeting parents that have lost their 6, 7, 8-year-old kids and stuff. When you hear all the stories on the book tour, it got really real. And I got a lot of gratitude from it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I always would say to people, everyone's going to die, and it's really a question of how
I've never seen that picture.
How many years? We're looking at a picture of him. It does look like you. How many years do you have with the person? Now, some people, they're 5, so you don't really get a lot of years. Some people make it to 89, and then you get a lot of years. But it's all a spectrum. And historically, people died when they're 40 years old, you know, and that's what you had with that person.
Yeah.
So did they ever get to the bottom of it? They find the drug dealer or figure out who laced it and did whatever?
Yeah, they know who it is, but, you have to be able to prove stuff like that. They we know, but you just have to prove it.
Right.
And, it gets real lost and choppy and stuff like that. So the thing about it is, God would deal with that. Would deal with him,
the dealer,
or the dealer, or whoever's responsible, or whatever, So people like that, they don't usually, last long anyway.
Famously, I don't know if you know this story, but I believe Carol O'Connor, Archie Bunker, his son passed from a drug overdose, and he went on a big campaign to put the guy behind bars and did press conferences and made a whole deal out of it, if memory serves. And I think
I vaguely remember that.
And it was a weird story, but it was sort of interesting that he basically made a campaign of getting the guy. And I don't know if I think the guy did go to prison, but I can't remember the whole story. I just remember him going on a sort of personal mission to get this guy.
Sure. Well, my thing is the streets usually take care of people like that. Anybody out there, you put stuff in the universe, it's coming back to you. People like that, they can't sleep at night.
Were you able to work, or did you have to take some time off during that period?
No, I had to work because other people have went through worse. Much is given, much is required. And I got therapy or whatever, but I had a choice: lay in bed and think about it, or get up and go to work.
Yeah, I've worked through some hard times, and
that's different from a hard time.
No, I know. Yeah. I just mean, I don't know. Your parent dies, and you go, do you go into work that day?
It's totally different.
Oh, listen. Yeah, you're talking to the right guy, because I didn't like my parents. So I'm not even equating the two. Yeah. But what I'm saying is there are people who just go, I'm taking time off because of fill in the blank. And I've always I don't know why one has to do with the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're a roofer, I don't know why one has to do with the other. You have to go to work.
Yeah, and the psychological part is my job is doing comedy.
Right.
I'm on the radio being funny every morning and performing on the weekends. But you have to think about this. What would my son want me to do? Who was my son? My son was a comic, right? All right, Dad, I'm good. I'm in heaven now. I'm not suffering anymore. Dad, go out and do your thing. You know, my son was always encouraging me. Hey, Dad, that was funny. That joke right there was funny. Go out and do your thing. Make it happen. And God is just good. And then you have to also consider people that have went through worse situations worse than yours, that didn't get to see their kid graduate high school, that didn't get to see their kid graduate elementary school. I had a couple in New Orleans who lost their baby. I think he was 2 or 3, drowned in a pool.
Right,
they didn't get to see their kids get on the bus at all. And so when you have to do it for people like that, and people that's suffering and whose situation is worse. A lady out here in L.A. lost both of her sons the same day.
And these are all people you would see when you were on your journey promoting the book, right?
Or you hear about it and read about it. And so you're like, hey, I got to get up, and go to work, because I feel like all of this stuff is just a test. Sometimes God look at us and our trials and tribulations and see how we handle in these situations, and it's a test, So
I am so envious of people like you that have a strong faith, because I don't, but I'm super envious of it. And because when tragedy happens, you have that, I don't know what to call it, fall back on or something, but you have that faith, which I don't have, but I wish I had it. And then people say to me all the time, well, do you wish there was a God? And I go, yes, I wish there was a God. And they go, why do you wish there was a God? Like, you're agnostic or atheist or something. And I go, well, what do you mean I want there to be a God for everyone and for me too? I'm not a bad person. I don't think I'm going to get punished.
Right. I don't think I would have been able to navigate through this process without God. I think that's who carried me when there was only one set of footprints in the sand. I remember walking down that hallway in my apartment complex to try to catch a flight to get back home, and I had no one with me. I had to keep my composure. I had to smile and shake hands at the airport.
Right.
I had to sit on the plane and have a conversation with the gentleman behind me, showing me pictures of his family reunion, who recognized me, and I never told him what I was dealing with and what I was going through.
You had heard the news that your son had passed, and you were on an airplane, and the guy next to you was showing you family reunion pictures. Wow.
He was a very nice man. And what that did was, and remember now, Adam, a lot of stuff is about the perspective. Sometimes God is keeping your mind occupied until you could get to the next, where you're headed. And him having a conversation with that man for about a good hour, it kept my mind occupied, just having a conversation with him. Knowing that when that plane lands, what I'm about to walk into, because I have a mother, I have other children, and everybody's meeting at the house. This just happened, and it's about to be chaotic, and no one is there to lead and to comfort and to make decisions. And so it was definitely a test.
Well, I think you passed.
Yeah, I tried.
and you got into
I'm
therapy
still going through it.
because of this? You sought out therapy because of this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had to sit down on the couch. My crazy ass. Anyway, crazy needed therapy even before that because I'm crazy. But, yeah, I had to get therapy.
What do you mean you're crazy?
Oh, us comics.
But the thing about me is I don't feel like I'm that weird for a comic.
Right.
I'm not. Well, the thing about me is I'm a builder first and a comic second. Like the sanest comic you'll meet is Jay Leno.
Right.
But Jay Leno is a car mechanic and a comic.
Yeah.
And the mechanical part keeps you really rooted and square You don't drift off into weird places. It's very structural. It's mechanical. It's linear.
Yeah.
It's a little boring. It's a little tedious, but it's grounding.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if you want to know where Jay Leno is at any given time, he's 4 miles from here at his shop with a wrench in his hand.
Yeah.
He's not doing what comics do, sleep in until noon and then go get high and then go to the bar and then go to the track or like whatever it is.
Right.
So although comedians are traditionally nutty, I look at myself as uniquely sane, but it's because I build.
Yeah.
I think, for me.
And I like working on engines also.
You do?
And driving across the ocean, driving to the Bahamas. And
oh, you're a pilot, right?
Sailing pilot, fly planes as a hobby. I don't have my pilot license, but I can anything happen in that cockpit, I can put a 737 easily on the ground.
Really?
Hell yeah. And captaining our boat, going to the Bahamas and going across rough seas and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, don't you? So that I feel like that makes you sane.
Yeah.
Because if you're a pilot or captaining a ship, if you're not practical, you essentially will die.
Right.
You just will.
Yeah.
If you can't operate.
And a musician, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got a bunch of stuff that grounds you, right?
Sure.
But you still feel a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I don't feel crazy. I was just talking trash.
Yeah. Did you grow up sort of normal?
Yeah. I had a normal Alabama grandkids, Alabama football.
What'd your parents do?
My mom worked at Arby's. You know what I'm saying?
She worked at Arby's.
Worked at Arby's. That was when I was smaller. My dad died when I was 6, so I was around grandparents my whole life. I'm a grandma's baby.
What happened to your dad?
He was killed in New York City. Yeah,
shot kind of thing.
I think so. Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah, I think shot. Yeah.
Did you get to the bottom of that one?
Nah, my grandparents never really wanted to really talk about it. I just knew that he was killed in New York.
So he went to New York and got into trouble, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know necessarily think he got into trouble, but got killed. Yeah. Sometimes you can get killed without getting in trouble.
Well, no, you can. It helps. To get into trouble to help. I mean, you have a higher likelihood.
Yeah, my dad was a good guy.
He was.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
What did he do?
He was in the military, my dad.
Oh.
Yeah, he served in Vietnam.
And what was he doing in New York then?
I have an uncle there. We have family there.
Oh.
Yeah, he was there visiting family.
When your dad was in Vietnam?
Yeah.
What did he do?
Yeah, my dad and my uncle, I don't know exactly what he did. My dad and my uncle, they went to, they graduated high school together. My mom's brother and my dad, they went to the military together, and they ended up serving in Vietnam.
And so you were raised by your grandparents?
Yeah.
Who were his parents?
His parents and my grandma, my mom's mom, and they lived cat a corner across the street from each other. That's how my mom and dad met.
And your mom worked at Arby's?
She worked at Arby's.
How many years she put in at Arby's?
It wasn't a lot of years, but I just remember her working at Arby's, going to meetings with her.
Because you bring food home?
I didn't really like it.
You don't like Arby's?
No, black people don't fool with Arby's too much.
They don't do Arby's?
I never heard a black person say, "Hey, I'm going to Arby's. You want something?"
Hold on, let me think. You're right. I've never heard a black guy going on Arby's.
Hey, I'm about to go to Arby's. Y'all want something? We've had Arby's before, but
Arby's not. What's the number one black chain? I'll tell you what it is.
Black people like
Red Lobster when you're stepping out. I don't know why black people love Red Lobster. Why people don't like Red Lobster.
Only on Sundays and wedding anniversaries.
Well, I know it's expensive. Red Lobster's expensive.
Yeah, but we like the crab legs, the forever shrimp or whatever. Yeah,
I went with Jimmy to a Red Lobster once.
Yeah.
To research. We're writing it in a movie, and I said, "Have you ever been to a Red Lobster?" I said, "I never been." White people don't go to the Red Lobster; they're in the commercials.
Well, in Alabama, they you see a lot of it'd be mixed. Red Lobster.
I never get it. Super expensive, not that good. You like
the
it?
cheddar biscuits.
I love cheddar biscuits.
Yeah, the cheddar biscuits. It's
All right,
okay.
so what's the number one black food chain? It's not Popeyes.
No, I wouldn't say Popeye. White people love Popeyes too.
Oh,
though.
listen, it does not need to be said that black people like a good burger and white people like a good burger and black people like good fish and white people. Well, I know everyone likes good stuff, but I'm still looking for the number one. Now, the number one white place could be In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, really? Well, we don't have one.
I don't never see black people at In-N-Out Burger
in Birmingham,
and we'll line up for that shit. We don't wait in line all the time.
I've seen everybody online
Chick-fil-A.
going to Chick-fil-A and Chipotle.
Oh, Chipotle.
Chipotle.
So what's the number one black fast food destination?
I would say Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Any type of like Golden Corral.
Golden Corral.
Yeah, remember Golden Corral?
Yeah, sure.
Ryan's Steakhouse.
Ryan's.
Yeah. On a Sunday after church, we love to go to a nice restaurant.
Yes.
A steakhouse or a buffet or whatever, Now, these are things that I went with my grandparents and obviously other families there. We used to love Golden Corral.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Piccadilly's, Ryan's,
Is Ryan's a chain?
Ryan's
they have them out here.
Yeah, they closed or whatever. But, when I was a kid, it was a Bonanza. I don't know if you remember Bonanza.
We had out here, I'm trying to think, and sometimes they Sizzler.
Yeah.
Sizzler was as high up the food chain as my family got. We didn't get past Sizzler.
Right.
We stopped at Sizzler. There was
Same over
nothing.
here.
Anything past Sizzler was way too expensive.
We didn't go to
for us.
Perry's. It wasn't no high end.
And not only that, within Sizzler, there were things you couldn't order.
It had to be hamburger steak.
Yeah, it was. There was not only a limited place, but a limited menu. On the thing.
You wasn't getting a T-bone. You're gonna get a hamburger steak.
You couldn't get the Langostino or even the Malibu Chicken. What was Malibu Chicken at Sizzler, Dawson? It was like chicken. They called it Malibu Chicken. Yeah. And they just took chicken and they just put like pump cheese on top of it or some sort of weird hollandaise sauce. And then Langostino must be shrimp? Big shrimp?
Really? Okay.
It wasn't lobster.
Right.
It was like kind of crawdaddy.
Right. Now lobster tail is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Lobster tail is a thing.
That's good. So you guys never got above Sizzler either.
Nah. It was once you go to a steakhouse, it was Bonanza when I was a kid. Get your hamburger steak and your little baked potato and your roll. That was it. But you thought that was a big deal.
Yeah. It's weird. Now it's weird when you have money and you just can do whatever you want.
Yeah. You end up going doing that. I never really changed once I started headlining shows or whatever. My menu kind of stayed the same, but I've learned how to cook though. So I cook. Oh yeah.
What's your specialty?
Oh man, if you want to do old school, we can do some chicken and dumplings or whatever. They have that on the menu at Cracker Barrel, but my chicken and dumplings are the best. Now that's the one dish that family members always ask me to cook, and I grill. So grilling. We have the Conecuh sausage in Alabama. It's a famous sausage that's well seasoned. It tastes really great. It's good. You can grill them or have them for breakfast or whatever. So grilling and I just love to cook.
I think we have Malibu Chicken. A picture of Malibu Chicken.
Oh, that's it right there.
Chicken, and they just melted a piece of Swiss cheese on top of it. I remember seeing the commercial. Oh, they put a piece of ham on it, and then a piece of Swiss cheese on it. And they called it Malibu Chicken. And I remember just seeing the commercials going, well, if we do ever get to Sizzler, I'm never going to... That's off the menu for us.
That's ham, chicken with some Swiss cheese, fries, and steak. What does that run, like $12? $15 maybe?
Back in the day, it was probably like $8 or something. But it was still way too
It looks delicious, though.
I always tell people... I skipped Outback Steakhouse because the whole time I was poor, I couldn't get above Sizzler.
Right.
And Outback was above Sizzler.
Yeah.
And then I got rich, and I didn't want to go to Outback. I
Right.
skipped Outback, and I went to Morton's or higher-end steak place.
Outback has a nice shrimp on a Barbie.
They do.
Yeah, and the bread is pretty good.
Never been.
You gotta go. You gotta go. Next time I come out here, we'll go to Outback.
Sizzler's still doing Malibu chicken for $17.49.
What?
They don't still have Langostino though, do they? You got to look up Langostino. I think
I can't believe we doing this. That's funny.
I think they took shrimp or dwarf lobsters or something and gave it a cool Italian name. I don't think
Right.
I think they took crawdads and gave it a cool Italian name. That's all I got.
That's funny.
So when you're back doing your radio show in town, you're up at what time?
I wake up at 3:30, between 3:30 and 4. Jump up, go make coffee. And I do old school coffee. I have a percolator on the stove.
But you sound like one of these people who likes getting up in the morning.
Oh, I'm a morning person.
Are you?
I am not a night person. If I
I'm
perform,
so
I have to take a
jealous.
nap. If I perform, I have to go into a deep nap that afternoon, that evening. I have to go to sleep in order to function.
So you're a morning person
I
who's
am.
doing morning radio.
Naturally.
That is the greatest gift of all time.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a morning person, but I had to do morning radio.
Wow.
And it was a battle, man.
Yeah. Nah, I go to bed. My discipline and my structure is unreal. No alarm clock either.
No alarm clock. What time do you go to bed?
8 o'clock, lights off.
8 o'clock.
No later than 8:30.
And you go right to bed.
right to bed.
You don't have to have like a glass of wine or anything like that. You
Every
just go
now
to
and
bed.
then, something like that, or a half of a sleep aid or something, you know, just so I can be rested. But I jump up in the morning, coffee on. I'm talking about old school coffee with a percolator.
You get up between 3:30 and 4 every day with no alarm clock.
Yes,
And still dark.
automatically wake up.
Just wake up.
Yep.
We have a Langostino Sizzler commercial from 1987. You want to know what I still don't know what it is. You will know. You'll probably know what Langostino is.
Let's go. I'm with
All right.
it.
Sizzler's come up with something wonderful. Can you guess what it is?
Langostino?
Here's a hint. It tastes like tiny lobster. And it's seasoned with garlic and herbs in a special buttery sauce.
It's shrimp.
Give up? We call it our shrimp Langostino style. And it comes with a thick, juicy steak.
All right. They just made this up. It's just called
I'm
shrimp.
going today.
It's
We're
called
going-
shrimp and garlic, right?
It's the fine Corinthian leather of restaurant
that's the
fare.
Corinthian leather
There
of
was a lot of salt.
restaurants,
There was- when they dash that salt on there, that means it's going to be right.
Don't
Now-
forget the MSG.
Yeah. $5.99. Yeah, now we would do the other big one we had out here is the Shakey's Bunch of Lunch.
Okay.
Shakey's had the all-you-can-eat whatever thing,
Yeah.
too, with Mojo potatoes
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that, right?
Oh,
That was
yeah.
the other thing we'd do.
Yeah. I got to go by Tommy's before I leave. I'm a big fan of Tommy's. I like the chili cheeseburger.
Tommy's was the chili burger
or
out
Pink's,
here.
or go to Pink's and get a hot dog.
All right, so now you got Tommy's, and then you got Fat Burger.
Yeah.
Black folk love Fat
Oh,
Burger.
yeah, that's a West
But
Coast
I don't
thing.
know if they're still around or not. But the Fat
Right.
Burger and the Tommy's,
Yeah.
those were the burgers out here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tommy's. And if you like a good hot dog, my favorite is Pink.
Never had a pink stock.
Yeah.
Lived here my whole life.
It's worth standing in line. I really.
Every time I pass by the place, there's 50 people standing in line.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, I'm not standing in line. I'm from here.
Right.
I'm not going to stand in line.
You can't get nobody to go get it for you. And
You know-
wait in the car.
Black people have never sent someone on an Arby's run, and white people have never sent anyone on a Pink's
Pink's
run.
run.
There we go.
Okay.
No, I should send someone to go on a Pink's run
Yeah.
just so I can say I've tasted a Pink's hot dog, because
Sure.
I've never tasted a Pink's hot dog.
Get your bag of chips. You're in the game.
I'll tell you who does a good dog out here.
Who?
What's the place that's in the train car? Don't think of that.
Oh,
Carney's.
right there on the main boulevard.
What is it?
Carney's.
Yeah, Carney's.
Carney's,
Sorry,
yeah.
Carney. Carney's
Yeah.
does a good dog.
Okay.
If you want a dog,
I
go
just
to
passed by
Carney's.
there. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
On Sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one in Studio City. There's one out here.
Down
That's
from the not the Improv, the comedy store.
Yeah, it's on the same side.
I just saw it.
You ever perform at the Comedy Store?
I went on stage with Guy Torrey. Had me come in and go on stage and perform. I did a show with him and Adam Sandler one night.
At the Comedy Store?
At the Comedy Store. That was my first time on stage. I did a good job. It was a lot of fun. I was grateful to be able to even grace that stage.
Do you, with your act, how much of it is set? How much is improvised? How much is sort of done the same night in and night out?
Most of it is set.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Now, I do a karaoke night in Birmingham, which helps me add to my set.
You do karaoke night?
Karaoke night, because a lot of my musical cues and stuff that's funny that hits the karaoke audience, it works when I perform on the weekend. Now, karaoke, the audience is more excited about karaoke because you have audience participation. And my karaoke tickets sell out in 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
Boom. Yeah. Like, it's a big deal. I was doing it every Monday night in Birmingham, and the club seats 530.
Wow, that's a big club.
Yeah, that's the Comedy Club Stardome is one of the biggest clubs in the United States.
Yeah, big. So average is 200, maybe 175 on something like that.
Yeah.
Once you get to like 300 in a club, that's a big club. In the comedy club world, there's only a handful that are 500 plus.
Yeah.
That's a huge
it has
comedy
skyboxes in there. It's a nice club. I hope one day you'll consider doing it.
I will.
Birmingham is a nice town. You would enjoy yourself. Bruce Ayers, that's where Roy Wood Jr. and myself, we started at that club. You can watch Roy Wood Jr. on CNN. He used to be on Comedy Central. And we started at that club, and Jamie Foxx has performed there. Chris Rock has performed there. Stardome is a great room.
I've been sitting on this. I brought up that Hugh OConnor, Carroll O'Connor's son story 20 minutes ago, and I never really followed it up, but Dawson has it. Am I making it up? He went on a campaign to get
No, you're not. Shortly after Hugh O'Connor's death, Carroll O'Connor declared on TV that Harry Thomas Perzigian was a partner in murder and had been sharing cocaine with Hugh. Carroll added that he wanted to harm Perzigian in the worst way. Perzigian was eventually arrested and sentenced to 1 year behind bars for the possession of cocaine and furnishing it to Hugh.
His son, who was an actor as well. Yeah, he went on a spree.
Yeah, the best thing for me to do to stay out of jail is to leave that situation alone. And one thing about the streets will take care of people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you live in crap, you die in crap.
Yeah, I think the problem with the Carroll O'Connors, he was the mean streets of Malibu. So I don't think he was like in Malibu. So I don't think the streets were going to clean that. We're going to take care of it like the streets you're talking about.
Or calmer.
What do they got where you? They got tornadoes?
Yeah, we have a lot of tornadoes in the South around April, especially around Easter, early May. Just some storms came through last night. Between Birmingham, between Dallas and Atlanta and on into the Carolinas. So whenever the storms get pretty bad, so there's a lot of tornadoes.
When you go to different parts of the country, like you go to Florida.
Hurricanes.
And you see them building. Yeah. They're building their homes out of cinder block that's concrete reinforced because that's where they're living. You know what I mean? So they get it. You have to build according to what environment you're in.
Right.
We got fire. So we should be building according to fire.
Right.
Like they do in all the other places and whatever's going on.
Well,
they have hurricane clips and everything.
Yeah, let's hope that they build the rest of the houses using something other than wood.
I don't think they're gonna.
Well, we'll see. Yeah.
I like them too. All right, another thing to bring up. Oh, speaking of that, which I'm all in for, Trump was saying he's going to take the $3 billion away from Harvard and give it to trade schools. And I'm like, good, give it to trade schools. We don't need any more Harvard grads. We need plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys. And by the way, if you're going to Harvard, you're fine. But a trade that affects poor people. Like, you want to make some impact on that poor kid, you know, who's failing out of high school, give him a trade, man.
Okay.
I'm happy that Trump takes the money from Harvard and puts it in. I want trades to come back. I want a whole renaissance on trades. You're not going to get replaced by AI. You have a trade.
Right.
And we need builders. All right. Let me give you a plug. Let's see. Name of the special, Foolish.
Yeah.
Coming out on Hulu, May 30th.
May 30th.
Rickey Smiley, where do we find your ratings? Because you're syndicated everywhere, but you don't have to be syndicated anymore because we have a computer and a phone and we can download the app and listen to you whenever we want, right?
Yeah. RickeySmileyMorningShow.com. Rickey Smiley Morning Show on Instagram. You can hear the radio show. I used to do prank phone calls back in the day. People go and find the prank phone calls.
Is it legal to do them where you were from?
You almost can't do them anymore.
Can't do them anymore.
You have to tell them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't do a prank phone call if you tell them it's a prank phone call.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't do those things. But I have a great, funny morning show. It's a lot of fun. And what inspired this special, I haven't done one in 12 years. I've done one on Comedy Central before. I've done one on BET probably like 10 or 12 years ago. And so it was time to do one. And so I shot it and walked it over to Hulu. They was like, yeah, we love it.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right. So that's May 30th. That's Friday. And then the radio show, you can go online
Monday
and
through
find
Friday.
it. 4 hours.
Yeah.
Up at 3:30.
Up at 3:30.
Rickey Smiley, good talking to you, my brother.
Man, thank you for having me.
We'll take a break. We'll bring Mayhem in, and we'll do news right after this. Morgan and Morgan. Here's the dirty little secret that the insurance industry may want to keep under wraps. Insurance companies profit from holding on to your money for as long as possible. So after an accident, they will do whatever they can do to delay or deny your claim. And this is how they can keep their profits growing. Morgan & Morgan fights hard against these corporations to make sure you get every dollar you deserve. I like these Morgan & Morgan guys. I've spoken to them off the air. They're as big as they are for a reason. They get results. When Morgan & Morgan takes on a case, they almost always are going after the big insurance companies, not the individual who's at fault. There's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury firm. Am I right, Dawson?
Hiring the wrong firm could be disastrous. Hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. With Morgan & Morgan, it's easy to get started, and their fee is free unless they win. Just visit forthepeople.com/Adam or dial #law #529. That's forthepeople.com/Adam or dial #law #529. This is a paid advertisement.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah, man. They'll keep your car on the road. And, cars are getting expensive now. You got to keep them going. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need to maintain and repair your vehicle. Always been an O'Reilly guy. I'm wearing my O'Reilly hat right now. Limited edition. Thank you very much. Always worked on my own cars, and now I work on my own race cars. That's right. Always choose O'Reilly. So whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you're going to find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, friendly. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us online at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
The Adam Carolla Show presents Adam Carolla's birthday cocktail party for May 27th. Let's see who's here. Todd Bridges. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
I talked to Dawson, who does all the birthday cocktail parties, and he told me that Cedric the Entertainer's was a little lackluster. And I said, and we've talked to people that have 12 big time names on there.
Oh, yeah?
And diversity.
Yeah.
I mean, folks from the arts, serial killers, war generals,
Run the gambit.
You want recognizable names, but they can't all just be actors.
Yeah.
You want inventors, you want actresses, you want artists.
Sprinkle, warlord in there.
Warlord, what have you. I got Todd Bridges.
I mean, look, it's a solid pick. The man was on television for a good stretch, has a nice criminal record. He's all encompassing in one guy.
I got the only black guy named Todd. There's only one black man named Todd
and
in
then
history,
another
and that's it.
outlier. Exactly.
There's actually more to your birthday than that.
Yeah,
We can
who's
find out
better?
later if you want.
Who's the best, though? I mean, now I do get the distinction of maybe being the best person on my birthday list.
Sure.
Because once you
dope.
get Einstein and Madame Curie on there, then you're taking a back seat.
Cedric the Entertainer is not the best person on his list, though after really going through your birthday, and I did a real one, we'll bump in with it next. Cedric beat you on quality of the party.
What you talking about, Dawson?
I mean, less.
Yeah.
It's worse.
Is there anyone on my list that's higher than Todd Bridges?
Yeah.
There is?
You can't wait.
You got a
Spin it. It's
Secretary
his
of State in there, a Nobel Peace Prize
what?
winner.
I want to know.
Colin Powell.
You want to hear it?
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Happy birthday.
I mean, listen, thank you. Look, the Nobel Peace Prize is fine, but if I haven't heard of you,
I know. He's looking for name recognition. We're talking marquee.
The Adam Carolla Show presents Adam Carolla's birthday cocktail party for May 27th. Let's see who's here. Let's welcome American shipping and railroad magnate Cornelius Vanderbilt. Here's American cowboy Wild Bill Hickok. Here is the 38th Vice President of the United States, Hubert Humphrey.
Yeah.
American golfer Sam Snead just showed up. The English actor from The Lord of the Rings, who also played Dracula, Christopher Lee, is here. Let's welcome Nobel Peace Prize winner and former United States Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. Here's former Los Angeles County Sheriff Lee Baca. Here comes the keyboardist for the Black Crows, Eddie Harsh. From Crowded House and Split Ends, Neil Finn is here.
I do like
From TLC, here's Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Here
Rest in
comes
peace.
American politician Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
From Outcast, it's Andre 3000.
Oh, that's the good one.
Here's Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose Depp. And the star of Different Strokes.
Yeah.
Well, one of them, Todd Bridges.
All right, that's
get
better.
back to
That's
the
better than I
Adam Carolla
thought. That Wild Bill Hickok made it.
Yeah,
made it
hell
good,
yeah.
Vanderbilt.
Oh, my God.
All right, here's something, and I've thought about it for a long time, but I've never really voiced it. But I've thought about something for a long time. But it struck me when all the controversy with Comey the other week, where he's like, I'm walking down the beach and I see some seashells and they say 86-47. And I look at my wife. I like when guys do I like when they do a reenactment of something that didn't happen. Like, my wife says, what's that? And I go, I don't know what that is. My wife says, well, we should take a picture of it and put it up on Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm sure your wife is spearheading this whole movement, but all right. But also, you're allowed to say to your wife, how about we don't? You know what I mean? Like if somebody walked around, if I was walking down the beach and shells spelled out Klansman or something, and my girl was like, we should take a picture of that and put it up on Instagram, I'd be like, no, maybe not. Or why don't we just keep walking?
Yeah.
But either way, it was 86-47. And of course, Trump's 47, and 86 means, depending who you talk to leave or be thrown out or get rid of or whatever. Depending on 86 could mean you got to 86 this bar, just leave the bar. Or if you're a mafia guy and you go, I need to 86 that guy, it probably means bury him at Shea Stadium. But either way, it's get rid of. Okay. I forgot that the abortion pill is called Are You 486? which sounds like a vanity plate for abortion, right? Like, are you for 86?
Or a reject Star Wars robot.
Yeah, it's a weird, it's like, I'm thinking about aborting this thing that's growing in me. Yeah. Are you for 86?
I think
yes,
that was,
I am. I would like to 86 this fetus.
I think that was a Van Halen record with Sammy Hagar, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had something like that.
Subliminal messaging.
Why did it get to, like, if you're in that boardroom and people are like, the number for this abortion pill should be RU, I'd be like, let's just make it RT. And why does it even need 4? You understand R, like R, then U, and then 4. These are all things that have different meanings, and then 86 means to get rid of.
Yeah,
so
Are you for getting rid of the baby?
Yes. Are you for it? Then take this pill.
But
if
really,
you'd like to abort your baby,
1 through 85 didn't work.
Are you for 86? I'm not kidding.
Are you for 86ing this kid?
Man, listen, bud.
Yeah, I think you're doing my joke, John. Yes, I appreciate it. But yes, somebody needed to raise their hand. And I don't care if the company was based in Norway. Someone needed to raise their hand and go, in America, 86ing something is getting rid of, and then RU sounds like a vanity plate.
Yeah, but I thought that was like, are you up?
Are you up?
Yeah, like late at night text.
Yeah. Are you for 86ing this fetus? Yes, I am. I will take this bill that says, are you for 86ing what I'm taking? I'm just saying, just pick another number.
Now,
or
did you
a
make
letter.
this connection a while back, or did it take the 8647 to get you there?
Drew and I were on this morning after pill or abortion pill or whatever they were calling it early because of Loveline, and they were calling it an abortion pill, but it's not really an abortion pill. It prevents implantation. And so Drew would argue about it, and I would argue, but then I would say, are you 486? Sounds like we're 86ing a fetus. Yeah. It's a bad name. And I said it years and years ago, but then I never thought about it ever again because I don't dabble in abortion pills that often. I mean, I keep some in the glove box, obviously, if a trick goes south. But the point is when we became wall-to-wall 86 news, because Comey's got to make the rounds going, I don't know what 86 means. My wife worked at a bar, and she would say to 86 to Langostino meant we're out of Langostino. And I love it when guys who run the FBI turn into idiots who don't know anything. They just go, I never heard of it. I don't know it. Right, you don't know.
And do you think this was just a mistake? I think there's somebody in there who thought they were being clever.
Oh, yeah.
They had to know. They had to know. Unless, of course, it was Sweden or...
It is. It's out of the country.
Wow. But somebody here should have, like you said, should have been like...
Yeah, marketing department could have cleaned that up a little bit, shaved that off, and scratched in a new thing on the pill.
Let's go ahead and make that U into a 0.
Exactly, yeah.
RO 486. Listen, Jimmy and I have it here somewhere, but Jimmy and I once we're hanging out at a miniature golf place playing arcade stuff, go to the batting cage after work.
Yeah.
And there's a video game called Violence Fight. It's out of Korea or something. And it's a stupid name to us, but to them, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Violence, fight. We don't understand. We don't talk that way. Nobody vetted it. Nobody went, listen, I got a cousin who lives in Wisconsin. They don't say violent fight. I know it sounds like it makes sense.
All your
language.
base belong to us.
Right.
Did RU 486 have a retail name like Abortinol or something?
Yeah, for sure.
It's Miffstone is what it's called, and it goes by the number. Like Roar 714 is a Quaalude, right? Okay. You don't know that. No. You don't know. Well, that means you're not fucking cool.
Way past my time.
Roar was the drug company that made Quaaludes. It was like ROAR, and 714 is the number for a Quaalude.
Violence fight.
So they have, it's called a Quaalude, but it also says Roar 7. It says 714 on the thing. Because I met a dude when I was like 13 that had the 714 tattoo. And I was like, oh, is that the name of your ship in the Navy? And he's like, no, it's for Quaalude. And I'm like, okay, winner.
Oh, wow.
All right, winner. Whoa,
Tell me
we're all
you're an
winners.
addict without telling me.
That's
you're an addict.
hardcore.
Oh, man. Yeah. Danco is the company that makes it. I think they're in Europe or something. And I don't... I should be the universal vetter for everything.
All right.
Everyone should run everything past me. That would be my greatest role. You know what I
Quality
mean?
control, standards and practices by Adam Carolla.
I would be sitting there. It'd be 1991, and FedEx would come to me and they'd go, "We got a new slogan." Wait. No, UPS. Sorry, UPS would come to me and they go, "We got a new slogan." I go, "All right, let me hear it. What can brown do for you?" And I'd go, "Reminds me of shit, gentlemen." No, what can brown? We wear brown, I know, but don't do it. And they'd go, "No, what can brown do for you?" And if people don't have a positive association with brown, anything, leave it be. Let's come up with something else. Anything but what can brown do for you? And I'd be like, all right, keep moving.
But we're trying to appeal to people's base instincts.
Quaaludes. They still have Quaaludes? Roar.
No,
oh, sorry. It's RORER. Roarer.
Yeah, that bottle looks worse for wear.
I'll tell you the best. You want to know what the best advertisement for a Quaalude ever was? People be like, "What's it like? What's a Quaalude do?" And they go, "So it's like a pill that's like you drank a 6-pack." And everyone went, "Oh, wow, that's a good pill, then, isn't it?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have to drink a 6-pack.
I just know
I
it
just
from,
take a pill.
from Wolf of Wall Street when the guys were just off their face, dragging along the carpet, can't get off the floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It fucks you up. All right, what do you got? You
Look,
got news?
get your mad first. The Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class. The party leaders are holding up in luxury hotel rooms on a strategy codenamed SAM, Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan to try to convince the working class voter to vote their way again.
Here's the thing, people. The whole idea that you're having a meeting of college-educated people to try to figure out a way to communicate with folks that work with their hands is off already.
Yeah.
You need to... Here's the problem. Stop trying to convince people you're something and start becoming that you're trying to convince us you are. You know what I mean? Like, Kamala Harris never worked at McDonald's, but she wanted to convince us she was the kind of person that worked at McDonald's because then we would like that kind of person. You're going to have to just find that kind of person.
Yeah.
You're not going to convince people that's who you are. You're not. You don't know that world. They want people from that world, but they don't want...
They want to pretend to be from that world and sort of like Pied Piper you into something.
They don't want a bunch of academics from Ivy League synthesizing a person that would be from that world.
Well, that's kind of what they're doing. They spent $20 million on this business, and they kind of brainstorm in these luxury hotel rooms how to convince working class men to the party. The big thing is that trying to
well, look,
encourage.
I can tell. First off,
Yeah.
those dudes are not down with any of your he-she bullshit.
Yeah, the big
they don't
thing
want
is
any of it.
They're
They're also not down with brainstorming in luxury hotel
They're
rooms.
not down with any of that.
That's a big eat cake kind of thing. But they're saying above all, we must shift from a moralizing tone. It seems like their strategy is like cart before horse.
Well, they don't want pronouns. They don't want he, she. They don't want gay pride flags swinging everywhere. They like trucks. They like America. You guys don't like pickup trucks with American flags on it. Guess who's driving those pickup trucks? Those dudes.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to just scrap all your shit ideas from the last 10 years and pretend to be normal.
Or you can try to buy ads in video games. That's one of the strategies. I would like to see a Hunter Biden Call of Duty skin just parachuting into the war zone.
You can try to convince people you're something you're not, but you just tried that and it didn't work. So stop buying advertising and start acting normal, and then those people will get down with you. But your people then won't be down with you. They're not huge fans of Palestine. They like a secure border. There's tons of shit that they don't want you to outlaw internal combustion engines. That's all them.
Just some brass tacks.
You're going to have to completely change your raison d'etre. And they don't like to use the term raison d'etre. So I'm going to stop.
I hate it.
Yes.
All right, an exclusive restaurant in Miami sent many into a spiral after revealing a cocktail that comes with a $33,000 price tag and a Birkin bag.
Okay. I cannot. This.
Let me spell it out, though. The
angry.
drink called, it's not a bag, it's a cocktail, features a cocktail consisting of Belvedere 10 vodka, grapefruit oil saccharum, and Lillet Blanc with the peach garnish and a side of caviar served inside this Birkin bag. I mean, come on, 33 grand. Get your lady something nice.
Listen to me, everybody. That we did this a lot. You know, they go, oh, it's a martini for $1 million. It has a diamond in it. It's like, okay. What's your car worth? What's street value on your car?
30
All right,
grand?
you know what? Fuck that. I don't care about your car.
All right.
I got a Ford 350 dually across the street.
All right.
It's got some miles on it.
Yeah.
It's probably worth 11 grand max.
Yeah.
Okay. If I put $2 million in a suitcase and set it on the floor inside the cab, it's not $1 million truck. It's $11,000 truck with $1 million in a suitcase in the glove box or on the floor.
I'll take it. We're talking 30.
Take for 11?
Yeah, 12.
350 dually. My point is there. It's not $1 million bra. It's a bra with $1 million worth of diamonds on it. You fucking assholes! Stop it already. It should be illegal.
Well, the article admits that without the bag, the thing's $150, which is still a lot for some Belvedere.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, but I don't like it. It went away. They did it for a while.
But it's going viral again.
They're trying to get us to talk about it.
And we did.
We did. They fooled
worked
us.
the Birkin.
They fooled us.
And next up, Joe Rogan starts going to church as a faith resurgence gains momentum. This Christian apologist claims. So this article was from the perspective of this Christian apologist, Wesley Hoof, who appeared on Joe Rogan Experience in January and has now said that I can tell you, in fact, that Joe Rogan's attending church.
Well, again, they want to synthesize Joe Rogan, but he likes bow hunting and he likes UFC.
Yeah. He lives in Texas too. You got to go to church.
You can't synthesize that. That's who the guy is, and the people that like Joe know that's who he is. I don't mind. I mean, I've been going to church off and on.
Yeah, what's up
recently.
With that? Ace, tell us about it, because that's interesting as an agnostic guy always on the radio.
I am not religious. I realized that our society was probably better when we had more religion. People are rudderless now, and they're fucked up, and they're a mess, so it kind of kept people in their lane a little bit. There is religion in my world is not that much different than therapy, and that people go, well, you got to get a good therapist. And then I go, you don't really have to get a good therapist. The process of going somewhere once a week for an hour to sit down and sort feelings is the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, as I think about it, I've had a lot of conversations with different therapists in my life, and most of them weren't gifted or good or anything. But the process,
kind of pouring that out,
of sitting down and working on yourself, and so the process of once a week going, no phone, no vices, no nothing, no distractions. I'm going to sit in this place and I'm going to spend an hour with my own thoughts and quiet and hear stories that other people have and stuff like that. Like it's probably good for your soul, it's just good for your process.
You talk about prayer.
Yeah, but I don't pray. I mean, I don't believe in any of it.
But it's meditative?
It's a thing where you just go, I am going to make time to put my head. Okay, so what do? Well, you could sleep, you could watch TV, you could write comedy, you could wrench on a car, whatever my day is, talk on the phone, complain to people about stuff, like whatever my day consists of. This will be an hour a week where you don't do any of those things. You just sit and you listen.
Yeah.
And you don't talk, you just listen. And the person could say something that no matter whether you believe it or not, it always has some message or kernels of truth in it, even if it happened or didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? And then you just sit there and you absorb it. And
So
then
that's what you do at church.
That's what I do. I don't know what everyone else seems to be moved. I mean, I'm probably the only one in there who doesn't believe in Jesus Christ. I may be the only atheist in the church.
But don't you think that's going to chip away at your resolve, and then one day you might become a Christian?
I would like to be religious. I'm just not.
Yeah, I always hear you say that, but that seems like something you could do if you wanted. You said you would like to, so it sounds like you're taking the first steps.
I would like to believe that something existed that I don't think exists.
That's pretty beautiful.
But I don't think I'm going to convince myself.
You don't think so? I think maybe I've seen it happen.
In prison, yeah.
No, not in prison, outside, bud.
I listen, you could either be religious or you could lead a more religious life. Either one would be okay with me. I'm fine. You can just act as if, you know what I'm saying? But I don't, no, I don't believe. I wish I believed.
You don't think you could start to learn to believe through repetition? At one day, God would just crack up in there and say, hey, I heard you were atheist.
Probably could get closer to it, but I don't know. I mean, maybe...
Yeah, you never know.
Like a miracle happened, like my stepdad picked up a check or something like that when we went out to eat. Like something would have to be shown.
Yeah, you believe in Jesus after that?
I'd have to see a miracle.
Divine intervention on the check.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. All right, whatever.
All right,
what's the next one?
We got the Russian teams remain banned from the 2026 Olympics. I mean, it's an interesting story here that Russian teams, including the powerful ice hockey team, remain banned from next year's Winter Olympics as part of Italy as sanctions for the invasion of Ukraine in 2022.
You know what's funny?
Well, and I'll tell you this, it's just to the team sports, and a lot of the singular athletes are competing as neutral athletes.
Oh, so...
Yeah, so figure skating, these type of... I think maybe wrestling, I would assume the last year that some guys competed as neutral athletes, but yeah, the teams cannot play, but the individuals might be able to make a case, yeah.
I was thinking about the other day. Remember the whole time Trump is running for election, whether it's Hillary Clinton or whoever, all the fucking idiots, the same idiots, are like, that's Putin's best friend. He's going to get in there, and he's a cat's paw for Putin. Trump is just going to do the bidding of Putin, and he's buddies with Putin. It was all Putin. Remember Putin,
yeah,
Putin,
of course.
rootin' tootin' Putin, Trump and Putin tootin'. That's Trump. Now he's been in for 4 months and trying to get fucking Putin to quit the war in Ukraine, and like Putin doing nothing. He's not listening to anybody. Trump just said he was crazy. Like, what the fuck with Putin? Now, I'm just saying, Hillary Clinton, if Trump is Putin's best friend and Putin's Trump's best friend, why won't he listen to Trump then? Trump keeps begging him to stop the war and he won't do it. He's just escalating it. So does he have power over Putin or not? I would argue not, because he's not listening to anything he says. And he's calling him crazy. But somehow Putin was Trump's best friend, but now his best friend won't talk to him about stopping a fucking war.
Chill out.
Yeah, maintain, dude. God, it's so unnecessary. It's just wars. Have to keep going. It's so weird, right?
I know.
It's 2025. Here we are.
It would have been over, and it would have been a utopia by now. But it just keeps on slogging on.
People would sort of learn a lesson and kind of want to get on with it and whatever. Nope. Not doing it.
No.
Not doing it.
No.
I still got
Fight
to
to the
kill
last
people.
man.
Yep. Yeah, so anyway, they're not going to compete as a team, which is good for our hockey team, right?
Yeah, definitely good to take out the top
I'm curious because what they usually do is they have like a new flag. You get to, people from other countries that can't be represented.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
all
the
walk
neutral
together under the
athletes.
neutral flag,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Why can't teams do that?
I know that's what they say in regards. It's because it's based on the fact that by definition, a group of individual neutral athletes cannot be considered a team.
Oh, that does make sense. Though.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's like a technical snafu.
Okay.
We beat Canada in hockey recently, I think.
And then we lost. Yeah.
We're taking, but
We're pretty good. We got, like, great
we
teams.
figured out. I'll tell you, we did something amazing. We figured out how to win at a sport without using the black man. But it's not easy. Now, if you want to kick the world's ass in football or basketball or something, we'll just get the brothers involved, and then we'll just whoop up on everyone, even baseball. But hockey remained white and figured out a way to beat the world. Now, maybe it's enough Canadians relocated or something, or Russians or whatever.
No, we found some black kids that could kick ass.
They could play hockey.
Yeah, we put them in there.
We sprinkled a few brothers in there.
A few brothers lived up north.
That's not the when you see the team, that ain't
They're
it.
milky white.
We just won the championship or whatever it was with white dudes in the United States.
Corn-fed dudes with French names.
Yes. So we figured it out. Tip of the cap, white man. All right, do we have one more?
No, that's all the stories for today.
All
Thank
right.
you for listening.
Kirk Cameron is going to join me, and he's going to talk about the books and I think I talked about homeschooling last time and all that, TV shows, and we'll get into that right after this. Shopify. You want to start a business? Well, it can be intimidating. Finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything can be such a game changer. For millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand's style. You'll be able to get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create emails and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Right, Dawson?
Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Carolla, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Carolla to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/Carolla.
See what's screaming free all month long during Pluto TV's April Ghouls. Get your heart pounding with nightmare-fueling classics like Insidious and Bram Stoker's Dracula. Or test your nerves with haunting hits like Urban Legend and Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Pluto TV has hundreds of channels and thousands of terrifying movies, live and on demand. Download Pluto TV on all your favorite devices and start streaming now.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
If you said Sunset Boulevard.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
You're correct. Now, back to the show.
Kirk Cameron has joined us. Good to see you.
Hey, great to see you.
Man,
your show's already cracking me up with your Nicaraguan jokes.
That was the late, great Oswaldo Castillo, who I met doing construction a million years ago. And then when I kind of got into show business, I just sort of brought him with me into show business. I now feel so old because I'm reading your bio and it says father of 6 and grandparent. And the fact that the kid from Growing Pains as a grandparent made me instantly old.
See, and it's even worse for me because you're indirectly feeling old, but I'm like the source of your oldness. So what does that make me?
Yeah, you're my old muse. You're firing my oldness, but you're living your oldness. I know it's weird. And I can't reconcile getting old, and I can't figure out what people were thinking when I was young. Did they, because I don't feel old. I don't think old. I have stuff I want to do. When I hear that, someone goes, well, maybe we should take the retirement age from 65 and do it to 70 for Social Security, and everyone goes nuts. I'm like, well, yeah, you shouldn't be retiring in a few years. You should be working. Everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. It's so good to be talking to you again, by the way, Adam. And it's really an honor to be on your show. And I agree. I'm 54 years old. I'll be 55 a little bit later. So I get all sorts of discounts now, which I'm excited about. I'm finally a grandfather. So I'm in this beautiful chapter with a little grandbaby girl who I'm just in love with, together with my wife. And she calls me Chief. So I'm feeling really good at 54 years old. And I'm hoping to be able to continue to contribute even more because I've got more wisdom now. You can see it here in my beard and in my hair than I ever had when I was on Growing Pains.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I know things I didn't know. Although I didn't know no one wanted to listen to anyone over 25. I thought I was going to be sagely, and the kids would be at the hem of my garment just waiting for their next morsel of information instead of like, quiet, old man. You don't know what it's like out here.
Right.
And it's interesting. And I guess in a weird way, technology has usurped or taken the place of what wisdom used to be, because we used to look at old people and go, you have wisdom, but now everyone has a phone with all the information on it. And maybe that's part of the general lack of reverence for older people in our society.
Yeah, I think you're right. And therein lies the great deception, I think. This is my take. What do you think of it? I'm thinking that people they've confused knowledge with wisdom, data with the ability to know how to use the data within the context of the situation, right? Yes. I mean, we're at a place now where, 2 + 2 is 5 in some circles.
Right.
And so I think that I was saying this to a friend, her name happened to be Alyssa. And I was like, with kids, they think all they need is Alexa, when in reality, Alexa has no wisdom. She's been programmed to think a certain way, and she can process lots of data, but she doesn't have the ability to know how to wisely discern what's actually true from false and then apply it to your specific situation. I mean, AI is phenomenal, but it ain't grandma. It ain't your dad.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I had a flashback to a conversation I had like a million years ago with a friend of mine, and he went off to college, and I worked in the trades, so I never went to college. But I realized a lot of these incredibly dumb, nonsensical ideas are coming from college campuses, which is interesting because I was always under the impression you're going to go to college, you're going to learn a bunch of stuff, and then you're going to come back and apply it or share it. I didn't know you're going to get your head scrambled. But thinking back on it now, and this is going back almost 40 years, my friend Carl went off to college and he studied philosophy. And then at some point he came back from college and we started having a discussion about philosophy. And I don't know, I said something like, look, I think I think an orange is better than a poison mushroom, or up is up and down is down, or right is right and left is left. And he said, yeah, but can you really know it for certain? And like, can you prove it? And then what if I don't feel that way? And we got into this whole bizarre philosophical discussion about right and wrong. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is what you're learning? You're getting your head scrambled, man. I know this stuff because I'm alive and because I live in the real world. You know what I mean? Like, I know a bowling ball weighs more than a feather, and if you drop it on your foot, you'll find out I'm right. But you're arguing that the feather weighs more than a bowling ball because you feel like it weighs more than a bowling ball. And I'm like, we're getting some weird no man's land. And that was years ago. And I think now we're there.
Yeah. Yeah, man, all of this is resonating with me in conversations that I've had with people. And I mean, at the end of the day, we can also ask, are you and I really having this conversation philosophically? Right. Could we be a couple of experiments floating around in some saline solution, a couple of brains that are just being prodded with electrical probes? Right. And we think we're having this conversation? Right. Well, I guess so, but I doubt it. I think reality is real, and we certainly live as though we're not just phantom people, that we actually experience things like caring for one another, and that it's better to be good than it is to be evil. And these aren't just imaginary constructs, that these are virtues that actually exist in the world, whether I'm here or not. That's what I think.
I'm with you, but again, I talked to Dr. Drew a lot about sort of what happened, and I think what I keep saying what happened is people wandered off the farm and onto college campuses, and the farm teaches you everything you need to know all day, every day, and it's all there. And then you go from the farm to air-conditioned college campuses, and now you start coming up with these thoughts about pronouns and identifying as a woman when you're a man, and who's to say, birthing people, and all. These are all insane thoughts that never happened on a farm. And I think that's the cause of this. People are all off the farm and into the classroom, and that's where they're getting scrambled.
Yeah, that's where they're getting scrambled and screwed up. I agree. You know, it just came to my mind, Adam, as you were saying that. What do you think of this? I think we left the real farm, and then we sent our kids to the funny farm of college. Yes. And then that's why we've ended up like Animal Farm.
Yes.
Remember that book?
Sure.
In high school?
Absolutely.
Where you got all the animals who were saying, hey, wait a minute, you know, the farmer, he's terrible. He makes us work, and he takes the chicken's eggs and all of this. And the pigs say, you're absolutely right. And the pigs say, let's revolt. And this is going to be our farm. And then the pigs get in charge, and they're worse than the farmer. Yes. And they enslave all of the other animals and duping them all. And I think that's what college campuses are doing personally, is I think they're turning all of our kids from hardworking, thankful Americans into commies who just bow down to the Führer or the oligarchy of the pigs.
Listen, it's not 100%, but it's going on, and it's my theory is that people that are attracted to that business, you have to kind of think whatever business you're in, like who's attracted to it, you know, and if you kind of go, commercial airline pilot, who's attracted to that? And you go, okay, that's a guy who lives in the real world because he has gravity to deal with every day. And there's a kind of a practicality. And there's a person that would be attracted to being a UFC fighter, and a person that would be attracted to being a nurse. You know what I mean? It's kind of different mentalities, and I'm attracted to building because I like building. That's my mentality. I enjoy working with my hands, and I like that world. And building attracts a type of person. And Donald Trump is a commercial builder. That's how he thinks. That's why he's always on the move. Let's go. Let's hurry up. When he comes here after the fire, he sits there as a commercial builder And he's talking to Karen Bass, our mayor, who's a career bureaucrat who doesn't think like that at all. She's attracted to the academia stuff. And so he's yelling, hurry, 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 clear those lots, let's get going. And she's going, do it safely, slow it down. Okay, it's a different mind. The people that are attracted to the teaching profession are not the same people that are attracted to being commercial developers. It's a different, or pilots, or cage fighters, or farmers. It attracts people who are sort of, if not fans of socialism, kind of like the agreement of, you don't have to pay me that much as long as I get a lot of time off and a guaranteed job forever. They're not hanging their shingle. Yeah. They're not out in the real world. They're not dealing with the gravity of starting their own business. They just go, I'll make this deal. I'm never going to have to look for another job. I'm never going to get paid or rich, but I can never fail and I can never be fired. And I get every summer off to do whatever I want and lots of days off for me. And then they go, okay, that's attracted those people. Now, those people then work their way up the chain, and that's the environment they're in. That's what they create. There's no builders in that group. There's no entrepreneurs. There's no business people. It's just those people who are attracted. And then they start spreading a message of what they're into. If they were vegetarian or vegan, that's the message they would spread as well. That's who they are.
Yeah. No, man, I think you nailed it. That's exactly right. I'm thinking about all these different professions. You know, my father was a PE teacher, and he was a really practical guy. He's out there with a whistle, and he's doing calisthenics with the kids my whole life with all these junior high school kids. And he was just livid with the way that the faculty way up at the top would deal with things, because they didn't deal with kids. They didn't want to deal with kids. They were just dealing with parents and rules and whether or not they got paid. And hey, just take care of the problem so the kids keep showing up so we keep getting paid, or you're fired. You know, it wasn't like they attracted different types of people. My dad actually cared. And I think about the military. You know, who joins the military? Generally speaking, all my military buddies, they're patriotic. Yes. You know, they're for Second Amendment. They're all very protective of their families. They're good blue collar type people. And then you got people who are politicians who run the military, who then start doing all this wonky, wacky stuff that undermines our own ability to defend the country through lethality and everything else with DEI and all that. And you go like, what's going on? My daughter is a flight attendant. And, she's seeing people get hired that are not qualified for what they're doing, and yet they're putting them there anyway because of some other sorts of criteria. And you go like, you don't risk your life in an airplane every day with these people, right? Like, so I agree with you. I think we need more people who live in the real world to be creating the world that we live in tomorrow. And I think that's a lot of what drives Donald Trump and his cabinet, his Avengers team, so to speak, to do the things that they do. You know, Elon Musk and Doge and efficiency and all that stuff.
I agree. I was saying to Dr. Drew, I don't think I said it on this show, but I said, what does Trump do? Well, he's a commercial builder, and he builds lots of big projects. Okay. So what does that entail? Well, it doesn't entail him tying rebar together or putting up drywall. He walks onto a job site and he has subs. Everyone is a sub. There's the concrete guy, there's the steel guy, there's the finish guy, there's the carpet guy, there's the HVAC guy, there's the plumber, there's electrician. Yeah. Everyone is a sub. But if you're the general contractor and your subs stink, the project gets behind. And they're always saying, where's the glass guy? Where's the steel guy? Well, the steel guy can't show up till the concrete guy does the foundation. Then the steel guy can show up, and the drywall guy can't show up until the framers do their framing, and everyone's waiting on everyone. So Trump's going, hurry, but I got to surround myself with guys who know how to work. He's not a drywaller, and he's not a concrete guy. He knows what it is. He's there, but that's not his job. But he has to have really good subs around him. And the Doge guys and Elon Musk and stuff, and I know everyone on MSNBC hates these guys, but they're competent subs. And Trump has to recognize competent subs because you cannot build a 32-story commercial office building without super competent subs that you've worked with a lot. And I like that world a lot better than, well, we have diversity. That's all Biden wanted was a diverse cabinet. And I'm like, I'm all for diverse as long as everyone's real excellent at what they do. But if you're just going to announce, I want the first black female vice president, I don't know that she's the best choice for the job. It feels like you're doing a diversity thing more than you're doing a competence thing. And that's what we found out. And I'm glad they got burned by it, because the lesson should be, I want the most competent subs, not the most diverse subs, with an eye on, if you go, well, there are not a lot of black guys who do steel. I'd go, all right, I'm all for going into the inner city and recruiting people, but they have to be good and they have to be taught and they have to be competent. But yeah, let's round it out. We'll get more women doing drywall. Fine, but they got to be good at it.
Yeah.
So I'm for it in theory. I just don't want to shove people to the head of the line who aren't competent.
Yeah. Man, this is so good for me. You know, I'm a fan of you and your ideas, and it's great for me to listen and learn just as we're even talking together. And man, I'm thinking of the exact same kind of thing. I want people to build the world for my children here in America that are filled with all kinds of competent people, like competent teachers. And philosophers who take common sense truths and build those into philosophy, and scientists and economists and nutritionists and doctors and medicine, all of that kind of stuff. But don't you feel like there are so many perverse industries that are lurking behind so many of the problems that we have in the country that they're just not going to go away until somebody pulls back the curtain and reveals them? I remember Dr. Ben Carson said to me one time, for instance, when we were talking about poverty, he said poverty scared him to death growing up as a kid. He never wanted to be poor, and that's why he worked so hard. And even though his mom didn't get past an 8th grade education and he didn't like school, he did everything he could to become the famous doctor that he was. And he said, the problem that I've learned is that there is a poverty industry out there that actually gets rich off of the problem of poverty, so that they can raise money in all sorts of ways, and they can manage that problem till the cows come home. Right?
Yeah,
and I could see that in the medical industry. I could see it in the you name it, and then that's really discouraging.
California has a homeless industry, and you look, the biggest problem, I mean, let's just really call it what it is. They spent $24 billion. They ended up with 30% more homeless people. Somebody, $30 billion, $25 billion, it's an industry. It's an industry. And I'll tell you how you know it's an industry. It's populated, the homeless population is probably 80% drug addicts and 20% mental patients, but it's drugs. It's all drugs. LA City Council has no experts on addiction medicine anywhere near the city council. Dr. Drew has 40 years experience in addiction medicine and volunteered to advise the city council, and they told him to go pound sand and kicked him out of there. And then the LA Times wrote a hit piece on him. So, are you interested in solving this problem or not? If I had a problem with my roof and a 40-year expert roofer said, I will volunteer to come to your warehouse and work on this problem for you, I would not show him the door. I would say, thank you. I have a problem. Right. And I want to get it fixed. So, are they worried about the homeless? Are they trying to solve the homeless? I would argue no, if they tell people who have an expertise in addiction and tell them to go pound sand. Then they are not interested in fixing this problem.
I agree, man. It's just you say it in a way that makes so much sense, and that sounds just like the border problem. We can't fix it because the Republicans just won't pass this bill, and it just can't be done. And we know it's a problem, but look, it takes time. Wow, lo and behold, the whole sucker gets buttoned up, and we have this massive decrease in drug trafficking and gangs and fentanyl and all this stuff because someone actually wanted to solve the problem. Turns out Elon Musk fires. What was it? 70% of the staff of Twitter?
Yeah.
Something like that. I can't remember exactly what the percentage was. It might have been higher, like 80. And they said, how can you do that? He says, well, it turns out if you actually just don't have people sitting around, you only need 20% of the staff because they really want to do the job.
Yeah, I agree. And eventually gravity wins and eventually truth wins, and it takes a while, and we're sort of seeing some of the fruits of it now. It is weird that there needs to be an argument every step of the way about what to do, which is sort of a weird time we're living in. But you are right that the people who get paid a lot of money to do these things have created, it's a business, and they're not interested in having the plug pulled to their livelihood, even if their livelihood is creating a problem that people suffer under. I mean, it's sort of like the guy who picks up litter at the park prays there's a lot of litter at the park. Now, we go to the park and we don't want there to be litter at the park, but he's out of a job if there's no litter at the park, and may throw his own litter down if he has to keep his livelihood. So sorry, I want to plug your thing because I don't want to, we got to give you a little shot here. Iggy and Dr. Kirk, I should say Mr. Kirk, you got me going with Drew, is the kids show we're talking about. It's streaming on Brave Plus, and I'm very interested on people out doing their own thing and platforms and alternative to mainstream media and all that. Yeah. And we're seeing that renaissance happen right in front of our eyes right now as well. Right, Kirk?
Yeah, absolutely. Necessity is the mother of invention. And I'm so excited about this new project, Iggy and Mr. Kirk. It's a brand new children's TV show. Think of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for our generation of kids and grandkids. I mean, we need Mr. Rogers now more than ever. Remember, he was the guy that you could trust with your children. You can't trust Disney anymore. You can't trust Nickelodeon anymore. I mean, it's like we got drag queens reading stories to our children in public libraries and schools. And so what I've been trying to do is write books with people that have good values and messages, and then we've been bringing them to life in this TV show. And I'm raising a little adorable green 5-year-old iguana in my backyard treehouse together with my wife and my daughter. And he's got to learn every lesson that a 5-year-old has to learn about identity, about purpose, about the importance of family, forgiveness, overcoming your fears, telling the truth. And he's got all of these colorful puppet friends and of animals all around him, including a vulture named Culture, who is always lying to him. And deceiving him. And he's got to rely on the wisdom of his parents and a based, non-woke ChatGPT computer that he has in the treehouse.
I'm going to tell my crew, just leave Kirk up on the screen, please. I watched the trailer already. That's interesting because I never really thought about whatever kids have these days and just how scrambled their brain would be if they listen to a lot of these idiots. And also just how weird, like the whole trans story hour, sharing the bathroom with the he, she, or whatever the hell it is, like how weird. And listen, I'm old and I can barely process this crap. I really mean it. Like I don't even know how to process the pronouns, because when you read an article in the LA Times, I've read these articles and they'll go, well, then she went into the bathroom and then they raped the young girl and then she fled. And it's like, she raped. No, that's a dude and it's not they. It's one guy. And he did this, and I don't know what's going on because you keep seeing they and she, and then she pulled her penis, their penis out, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on because you're saying they and she, and you're talking about a guy, and you're talking about one guy, but you're calling them them, and I'm like, I'm old and confused. I couldn't imagine being 6.
Yeah, it's 2 + 2 = 5 time.
Right.
That's what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So with you, and listen, I am so happy that people got out from under the thumb of the sort of industry and said, I'm going to go do my own podcast, or I'm going to go be the Daily Wire and, create my own content, or I'm going to make my own documentary and push it out there. I don't need this platform. I don't need this engine anymore. And it's happening in a heartbeat. I mean, it used to be you needed Disney and you needed ABC and you needed these Paramount, you needed these platforms, not really anymore. And I would argue they caused an exodus, but for you, you have to get some seed money. You have to get some investors. You have to have like a network. Like it's not all just you, right?
Right. That's right. Yeah. So I'm working with a company called Brave Books, and they're a little book company out of Texas, and they've continued to get so much support because they're like, they've been the spark that's lit this fire, and lots of people want to get behind us. And now our little TV show, we've shot 20 episodes of Iggy and Mr. Kirk. It's on their app called Brave Plus, but the Angel Studio app is now putting us right on their app alongside of The Chosen. And so is PureFlix, and there's a couple of others. And so all of a sudden it begins to grow, and people say, we want to be a part of something that is going to turn the tide and is going to lead back to the kinds of, the stability, the prosperity, the growth, the liberty, and the values that are going to lead to the blessing and the protection of my children and my grandchildren, not the plundering of their property and their freedoms. Yeah, so I'm excited about it too, and I see it everywhere.
I just did a couple of dry bar specials for Angel Studios, so you can enjoy some wholesome comedy with your family, Kirk.
I love it.
Coming from an atheist in Hollywood. I love it. I know the Angel guys well, and I should have brought them up earlier saying it's a real good example of folks that didn't fit in a system, that have different values and are doing their own thing. And I love that they don't have a monopoly, Hollywood, and also nobody listens to them anymore. When election comes around, they get all their A-listers and they trot all their A-listers out, even pay their A-listers to all tell America how to vote, and nobody listens to them.
Isn't that crazy?
Anymore. I love it.
I know, it's so great. It's how the mighty have fallen. It reminds me of, like, I'm looking out my window at my house here. I live in Tennessee now, Adam, not in California. And I miss the sunshine. I really miss In-N-Out Burger, big time.
Yeah.
And but they're actually moving their headquarters to Franklin, Tennessee, I heard. So I'm getting excited. But I see this tree out in my neighbor's yard, and we have so much rain here that the trees get really, really big. But apparently the root system was not very strong, and the whole thing fell over onto the power line and just like took out the power like everywhere. And I was just thinking about the fact that, this is what happens with false political and ideological systems like Marxism and communism, and all throughout history. They collapse because they get so gargantuanly big, and they're so like puffed up with their own pride. And look at my branches, look at my leaves. I'm so big, and I'm in a big empire. And that's what pride does to people. But ultimately, with America, we were different in the beginning. We had a root that went deep down into faith in God. And we had a social contract with one another that said, love your neighbor as yourself. I'm telling you, that's not the deal that's going on in North Korea or China. And eventually these big regimes end up toppling because they don't have secure roots that go down deep. I think that we still have a chance to reattach the roots and to nourish them here in our American constitutional republic and get back to the times where, we could trust each other and we put good representatives to represent us as the leaders. We're not electing leaders. That's not correct. We are choosing representatives who represent the leaders, and we are the sovereigns, the people. And if we can do that and begin to govern ourselves the way we were intended in the beginning, I think our best days are still ahead of us.
Yeah, I do as well. And that's the sort of the sad part of it's like polluting your own well. Like, why?
Yeah.
We don't need to do it. There's so much. We know so much. We've learned so much. There's so much we've overcome. We don't need to do the one step forward, two steps back, or maybe it's two steps forward and then one step back and then one step sideways. Like, we don't need to do all that we've been doing. It kind of drives me nuts. We've figured out what works, and I don't know, like, the cycle of it. You have like New York. New York was dicey and dirty and scary and dangerous and had a lot of crime. And then Giuliani at some point came in and said, well, clean it all up. I'll clean it up.
Yeah.
But here's how you have to clean it up. And then he cleaned it all up. And then everyone went, oh, this is good. And then everyone got bored. And then they went, let's go back and defund the police because they got bored of it being good. And then it went back. And now someone's got to go, all right, now we got to come in and we got to clean up. Why the process is what I'm saying. Why? We know. I mean, LA, you can see it cycle. Now we're going to get a progressive DA in there. Okay, here we go. And then it falls apart, and then we'll have to rebuild it again. It's like, learn your lesson, idiots. You'll understand how it works. Why are you destroying cities like San Francisco with your horrible ideas? Sorry, it's diet and exercise. That's it. We're all the world's greatest nutritionists when I just say diet and exercise. You don't need a hack.
Yeah.
You don't need Ozempic. You don't need a shot. You don't need a pill. Your grandpa knew it, and you knew it when you were 8. Diet and exercise.
Yeah.
Same with cities. Yeah. Same with families. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, I think you nailed it. And you just made me think of something when you said, why do they keep poisoning their own well? This is starting to make me really consider that perhaps they're not poisoning their own well. Perhaps they're poisoning our well, and this isn't the well that they drink from.
Well, that's a
so
good
they're not
point.
Worried about it.
I think,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I do think that some of it is they don't seem to have exposure. I mean, look, what you need is skin in the game.
Yes.
There's basically... I'll have Dawson, the engineer, look up the quote, but I think there's like a Thomas Sowell quote. They love black folk, but they don't like Thomas Sowell. That's always an interesting one to me. But Thomas Sowell basically said, the best way you can spend money is spend your money on you. That's when you're at your best. You save the most.
Yeah.
You're thoughtful about it. And then spending your money on other people, it starts to fall off a little bit, but it's still your money. But the worst you can do is spend other people's money on other people. It's at that point you don't care, right? And that's how you get to $24 billion worth of homeless intervention and nothing, right?
Yeah. I think it was Margaret Thatcher who said, the socialism is great, except eventually you run out of other people's money.
Yeah. Is that Sowell quote in there, Dawson?
Yeah, it originally brought me to a page that got corrupted, so stand by.
Oh, okay. Well, I have paraphrased it, but people spending money that's not their money on people that aren't them is going to go south fast.
It's a quote on greed. Hold on.
All right. Kirk, let me give you a plug. We should check out Iggy and Mr. Kirk streaming on Brave Plus, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Brave Plus, the app on your phone or TV, or you go to braveplus.com and you can watch the first 3 episodes for free. And then, of course, if you got Angel Studios or Pure Flix, so you can watch all 2 seasons of them, or you can just sort of like join their Book of the Month club, and then you get to watch all of them with your kids, and they're just great. I mean, I'm truly proud of it, and it's the kind of thing I would want my grandchildren to sit down and watch with my children. It's beautiful stuff.
We have the quote, I do believe, so says Dawson in the other room.
I've never understood why it is greed to want to keep the money you have earned, but not greed to want to take someone else's money.
Which is a Thomas Sowell quote, but not the one I was looking for. But either way.
But a good quote.
But a good quote, everybody. I know it's always funny when it's like when they go, he's trying to kick tax breaks to his rich buddy. It's like, it's their money. It is their money. What they're saying is they don't want to give the lion's share of it away to the government, but no one is giving them money. They're letting them keep money they've already earned. So let's just put it into a proper context. Kirk Cameron, good to see you, my friend. Always a delight.
Thank you. Great to talk with you, Adam.
And check those Dry Bar specials out. They're squeaky clean and still funny.
Well, I sure will. And hey, you have inspired me. I'm actually going to take a crack at my own podcast. And it's pretty gutsy to name a podcast after yourself, like the Adam Carolla Show. Because if you bomb, you don't get a second chance, like Adam Carolla Show #2.
I named mine the Kirk Cameron Show for the first 3 years, just in case it went bad. Thanks, Kirk. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I was just going to say I'm going to try my hand at it. So we'll see if I'm still around in 6 months.
I think you'll be very good at it, Kirk. That's me.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you, my friend, and I'll be happy to be a guest on it when it's up and running.
Thanks very much.
Kirk Cameron. All right. I am going to be doing a couple shows this Friday in Tacoma and a couple shows on Saturday in Tacoma, Washington. And then I'm off to Spokane doing shows there. And Palm Springs and Salt Lake City. You can go to AdamCarolla.com for all the live shows because I'm coming everywhere. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Kirk Cameron and Rickey Smiley and Mayhem saying mahalo.